You should also look at the specific interest rates, or if they're offering you a mortgage, look at options. There's someone I had, she bought a house, was it in South Africa? But she says her biggest problem was she did not market around to look at institutions that are giving better offers for the mortgage she wanted to take, and then she ended up going with that specific developer who was offering financing, and at the end of it all she realized she had been charged a lot of money, like as compared to if she would have shopped around. So look at these interest rates and the mortgage that you're going to be given.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Balance It podcast. Balance It is a platform that empowers young men and women to live a purposeful life.
We delve into conversations relating to purpose-driven living, business, investments, and abroad experiences. I'm your host, I'm Gertrude Nasike.
And I am Etta Onyoni.
Yes, so in today's episode, we're going to look at the real estate market. We want to find out if it's still a safe bet. What do you think?
I think it's a safe bet. And just buying the idea of our previous guest who was here on the other time, Wilfred, when he was talking about real estate. I think it is a really safe bet. Still, it is a safe bet. It was a safe bet years ago, and it still remains a safe bet. What do you think?
I also think it's a safe bet, especially due to different factors. Right now, you're finding there's so many current trends. And when you look at the real estate market, people are really adjusting to incorporate these trends. For instance, you're seeing we have trends in a shift in the remote working setting and maybe hybrid working setting. We also have trends in AI, blockchain technology. And when you look at the real estate market right now, people are really running and trying to tailor also their businesses, and also just the market is responding to these trends. So I think it's a really safe bet because they're looking into the future as well.
Just speaking of things, the same thing that you've talked about, AI, blockchain, or even remote working, how do you think those specific things, now if we go on a deeper level, how do you think such things are shaping the real estate market?
I would take an example of remote work. Right now, you'd find most people are working from home. Sorry. Most people are working from home, or we have these hybrid working settings. So you just go to the office a few days a week, and most of the time you're at home. So you find there's a shift in the, let's say commercial spaces, for those areas that we have high remote working situations. You find there's a growth in co-working spaces. These are basically offices where you don't have to be there. It's like you're just hiring or you're booking for a certain period of time, and maybe just you're booking a workstation or you're booking an entire floor if it's a farm, for just that specific time or those specific 2 days in a week where people can really work, as compared to the olden days where you would literally have a whole building and have, let's say, 30 people coming to the office that day, thereby making you just go into maybe high costs in terms of rent, in terms of maintenance, because the space is too big and people are not using it. So I would say, for instance, there's just that growth in co-working spaces. I would say also maybe a shift into maybe residential housing that are incorporating study areas,
Mm.
because now the study area in a house becomes something like a workstation for you
Mm-hmm.
in regards to as compared to you going to the office. So I would say in respect to remote work,
Mm-hmm.
that really is changing. Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially the aspect of huge rents,
Yes.
and actually people are even like most people are working from home.
Yes.
And something else that I can add on to that is
Mm-hmm.
we are right now seeing people preferring things like Airbnbs
Mm-hmm.
or these online
Yes.
platforms compared to booking hotels as
Mm-hmm.
it was the norm
Yes.
before. Yes, we have like these negative things that are happening, either like you find that people are crashing people's places, or
Mm-hmm.
there are some either things happening inside those Airbnbs,
Yeah.
things like killings, which is
Mm-hmm.
not really good.
Mm-hmm.
But still we are seeing an upcoming rise of many people are going the Airbnb way. I'm trying to find that word for, because Airbnb is
Yeah.
for a specific
For
company.
furnished
Furnished apartments,
apartments.
yes,
Yeah.
that is, yes. People are going the furnished apartments way, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it is also making even investment in the real estate even easier right now,
Yeah.
because we
Mm-hmm.
are also seeing most people are investing in real estate through
Yeah.
now Airbnbs.
Mm-hmm.
Either somebody purchases a flat and
Mm-hmm.
they put it out as
Mm-hmm.
on the Airbnb apps, or like as a furnished apartment,
Yeah.
or they decide to buy the house by themselves, and then
Mm-hmm.
now they decide to rent it out. So I think also with that uh, analogy cropping up right now, it is
Mm-hmm.
also it is also making like the real estate to be like a really reliable investment place.
I really like that. And just to, I just remembered also another thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we also look at, as a result of technology, let's say AI or blockchain, or the rise of these different platforms, online platforms that are
Mm-hmm.
making access to real estate investment very easy. And a good instance is rates. Right now you're finding there are so many people who can access real estate investment without necessarily just having to buy the physical house or buy the
Mm-hmm.
physical land. And this is basically as a result of just technology, which is an emerging trend as well.
Mm-hmm.
And technology keeps changing. And the fact that they can incorporate all these situations and all these people to allow people to fractionally invest in it, then it becomes a very good thing and makes the real estate outlook very well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Mm.
And just speaking about real estate, because
Mm.
we definitely know there are things like currency exchanges, there are
Mm.
things like inflation
Yeah.
rates. What do you think these have on the things like property valuation?
I feel like right now, like high interest rates, for instance, in terms of borrowing, makes mortgages a little bit expensive. And if the mortgages are expensive, it means also the property values are going to be higher, you know. And
For
also,
somebody who also
mhm.
doesn't understand what a mortgage is.
Okay, so a mortgage basically it's a loan or a facility you take with a bank or any financial institution whereby you're using real property as collateral. And as real property here we mean either a building, maybe you have an apartment, you have a block of flats, this residential building, or you have a piece of land somewhere. So it's just a loan, but the security here for taking that loan is real property. It's not like other normal loans where you'll take your pay slip and that becomes maybe a security.
Mm,
No, here
mm,
the collateral is specifically real property.
mm,
Yeah. So you'd find that makes mortgages high. And if mortgages are high, it means access to those properties is also not easy. And also, you can also look at the inflation rate. When the
mm,
inflation is high, it means also um, it transfers this inflation cost to maybe the cost of building materials, the cost of getting these services, maybe valuation services, contractors, and the likes. So building a house becomes very expensive, or bringing up a property becomes very expensive. And if it's very expensive to build a property or bring out a property, it means that these costs are going to be transferred, and they would come out or reflect as high property values. So I would say that's exactly how you would find this inflation and also high interests affecting the property values.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And now you find that some people are even opting to go back home to go back home
Yeah.
than either staying in places like the city. Maybe back home they have their own built apartments.
Yeah.
They prefer going back home,
Mhm.
especially for people who are working remotely.
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
prefer going
exactly.
back home than staying in rented
Apartments, yeah.
apartments in the cities
Mhm.
and everything.
Mhm.
But do you think really, like especially in this age,
Mhm.
the people are preferring the urban centers or the suburban centers, or even going back home? And home is either you home is relative, is different
Mhm.
for different
Yeah, yeah,
people. It
true.
can be in the urban or suburban.
Yeah.
But now you know the home that I'm talking about.
The Kenyan home. Okay, I would say, first of all, I would say this is basically based on someone's preference and availability of also amenities and services.
Mm,
But I would say for now, you would find most people are actually preferring going back home, but it's still um, there's still a very big trend where you're finding the urban centers are really still preferable in terms of renting. But I would say for suburban areas, right now you're finding, I would take a case of Kenya. Right now you're finding many people just building building their properties
mhm,
in their rural homes or outside the city, and making sure that they're fully furnished, have all the amenities, they have the Wi-Fi. And I would also take give credit maybe to the devolution of the governments and just the general specific county developments that are happening
mhm,
that make maybe home still a better place, because you can still access the things you would access in Nairobi.
mm,
It's just that maybe not in that large magnitude, but you can still access these things. So you would, I would say that you would find right now there are a lot of investments back home. And I would just take an example. Yesterday, a friend of mine shared with me a video of another a specific house. It's actually a Mabati house,
mhm,
somewhere in in Western,
mhm,
yeah, like between Western and between Nyanza and Western, but that's still the western part of Kenya.
mhm,
This guy has built a Mabati home, literally a big Mabati home. But inside, oh my God, it
mhm,
is a different, it's like a palace. Like, it's really well furnished.
mm,
He's using sustainable forms of energy. He's not even using like the normal hydroelectric power. He's using solar panels. He's using collected water, rainwater. And then right now you're finding that so many people who also have borehole water,
mhm.
and water is literally directed into the house. Same things that you would find in the city,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So you would find most people are preferring to go back home and just do their own investments, because
Mm,
there's enough land, there's enough time, and yes.
mm.
What about you? What do you think?
I think uh, because now speaking from a personal experience,
Mm-hmm.
I always prefer the urban city. Like at
Mm-hmm.
this young age, I
Mm-hmm.
prefer the urban city because it gives you that energized power that you can see things are moving.
You're moving in Nairobi.
when when
Uh,
when when I am like in the mostly in the suburban areas,
yeah.
I normally feel like life is a bit slow and I need to slow down. And this is not the time to slow down.
Yeah.
The age that we are in at right now is a time to build those investments and build that generational wealth. It's not a time to relax. So I normally prefer the urban area, despite being a bit expensive. I would prefer living in the urban area right now at my age compared to living in a suburban area. So I feel there is also an age factor to consider.
Yeah.
And also there are things like, if there are people who don't prefer that kind of lifestyle that I want, despite being at my age.
Yeah.
So the lifestyle also matters as well. And also people who work from home, why would you either live in the urban area and you can move to a place that is a bit affordable?
Yeah, true.
Why would you prefer a more expensive that is not giving you maybe the benefits that you're looking for? So I think both have the different weights with different types of people, but for me at the moment I would prefer the urban area. But as age goes by, definitely I would want to move to the suburban area, because the same reason of either way, in the suburban area you will still find that homes are, you have palatial homes, and you have all this space, because when you talk about family, you now need to more space, create more space for either for kids and everything. So I feel like my reasoning would change as age moves by. Yeah, so age is a very big factor for me right now, and also the lifestyle that I want at the moment.
That makes sense. And then I would just like to know, we've talked about these emerging trends. Would you maybe just let us know, how do you think AI and, let's say, blockchain technology is affecting real estate right now?
I think it's AI is very critical right now, and let's just embrace for sure.
And as best friend.
Let us just embrace, because with AI we are having really good research done, and you're getting research from different, let me say, like different resources.
Yeah, true.
We're getting all this research, and it will help us in making our decisions when it comes to either investing in either the fractional investments, when it comes to rates, or when it comes to a kind of platform that you want to invest in. So when it comes to research, I think it's really giving us really good analysis, and also things like predicting the future. AI can actually help you predict the future. Things like predictive analysis, those are things that AI can do that for you. And it's important that we actually embrace it. So I think it is really helping. Things like AI is really helping. And also when we look at properties, before a property, maybe like a whole apartment, before it is established, we find things like AI coming up, or now like things like virtual reality coming up, and you can actually see the whole property even before it actually comes to reality. So I think we should just embrace the new the new the new technologies, things like AI, because they help in helping us visualize things that we couldn't visualize even before they actually come to reality.
I really love how you've brought it out, and especially my highlight is the virtual reality. Like, that's so good. And I would say, just to add on what you've said, for the blockchain technology, it's also revolutionizing the real estate sector, because it's now allowing important information, let's say property details of property owners, property transactions, to be securely saved or securely stored, because it's not, this is a different technology that it's very secure, and it gives investors and people also just in the real estate market the confidence to know that their information or data about maybe their transactions are not out there for everyone to see and cannot easily be accessed, because this is a very secure platform or secure technology when it comes to ensuring data privacy and the likes. And right now, data privacy is a very big thing. So I would just add on it and say that's how it's bringing a lot of confidence when it comes to doing investments and also
Yeah.
just making business decisions.
Yeah, yeah. And what do you think,
Mhm.
like first time property investors,
Yeah.
you being in the property
Ah!
space, this is your
Yeah,
time to shine.
to shine.
Before they invest in
Mhm.
things like real estate, what
Mhm.
should they look out for?
First of all, it's also based on preference, but I would just say, for a starter, make sure you do your due diligence. If you're investing with a company, first of all, start by making sure that company is legit. Secondly, for whichever investment you're going through, you should look at maybe the location you want to invest in.
Mm-hmm.
You should also look at the specific interest rates, or if they're offering you a mortgage, look look at options. There's someone I had, she bought a house, was it in South Africa?
Mm-hmm.
But she says her biggest problem was she did not market around to
Mm,
look at institutions that are giving better offers for the mortgage she wanted to take, and then she ended up going with that specific developer who was offering financing, and at the end of it all she realized she had been charged a lot of money, like
mm,
as compared to if she would have shopped around. So look at these interest rates and the mortgage that you're going to be given. Another thing is you should also what is it called? Look at, you can be given the details of the property. If you're in Kenya or whichever place you are, look at the property details and cross-check them at the lands registry to ensure that this property is actually owned by this
yeah.
specific company, or if it's an owner who wanted to sell it to you, this property is owned by this person.
Mm,
So just make sure you do your due diligence, and then you can now look at things now, like let's say spares, your budget.
mm,
Definitely your budget also affects. Right now I'm looking for a house and I'm telling you it's not easy. So your
yeah.
budget also affects the type of property you want to invest in.
Mm,
You might want a mansion and your budget is maybe for a two-bedroom apartment.
mm,
So you can just look at your budget and see which areas and which properties you can have access to. Maybe you
mm.
can add some more.
Yeah, I'll just add one
Mm-hmm.
more thing. It depends with
Mm-hmm.
your financial goal.
Mm-hmm.
What is your goal at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Do you want to either increase property, increase the number of
Mm-hmm.
properties?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want gains, just
Mm-hmm.
gains, things like capital gains?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is your financial goal?
Yeah.
Because I have seen somebody
Mm.
who changed a whole house in I think in the US market. They,
Yeah.
they talk about flipping. So
Mm-hmm.
you find that it is a house
Yeah.
that was maybe left abandoned,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
somebody purchases it at a very
Low
low
price.
price,
Yeah.
and then once they purchase it, they flip the whole house and it becomes a very modern house, and then they
Mm-hmm.
increase
Mm-hmm.
the rent to a
Yeah.
very high rent. So look at your financial goal and look at also the options that are available
Mm-hmm.
according to your financial goal.
Wow, that's really put. Like I really love how you've put it. And just as we finalize,
Mm-hmm.
uh, do you think renting or buying is a better option today?
Hmm. I'll be biased.
Just it's an opinion either
Yeah,
way.
for
Yeah.
sure, sure, for sure. So for me, I
Mhm.
think again it goes back to my financial goal.
Yeah.
Uh, Based on where I am right now,
Mm-hmm.
it depends with my financial goal, or
Yeah.
wherever that you are. I
Mhm.
feel like it depends with your financial goal.
Yeah.
So renting could be more sound more financially appealing to me
Yeah.
based on my financial status at the
Right
moment.
now.
But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
later on,
Mm-hmm.
the soundness of the financial status,
Soft life kicks in.
yes,
Yeah.
or like your lifestyle changes, or you get more money.
Yeah.
You know, things happen, and glory to God, your decision actually changes.
Yeah.
So I feel like it depends with where you are at in life, and also according to your financial goals. But what I have, my theory that has been over time,
Yeah.
it's best to buy and then rent out at a higher price, and then move to a cheaper place. Move to a cheaper place. This person will be paying for you your rent, and also at the same time you will be making profit at the end of the day. So I feel like we can balance both of them at as that, like according to me, I could balance them as that. I just buy an apartment, rent it out to another person at a higher rate. They will pay for me my rent, and I will still be making profit at the end of the day.
That's very true. That's a good way to look at it. For me, I would say the same thing. Right now, yeah, renting seems more financially sound. But for those people who are in, I know that this you can still own a property while renting. In some areas, you'd find in Kenya, there's a rise in this rent to own property kind of arrangement, whereby you might speak to your landlord, and then you have a contract whereby the rent you're paying actually is like a mortgage. It's gonna be, you'll have a final price for the house, a specific installment period, and also the interest rates. So you'll just be paying your rent, but you're paying towards owning that house, you know. So it is a very good arrangement. And right now you would see there are companies that have started taking up this venture or taking up this model to ensure that there is affordable housing to individuals. I would speak for Kenya, back in Kenya. So you can look at these specific companies or just research, because it's a very good way to own a property, because you can imagine at the end of it all, if you're paying a rent of 50,000 per month, in a year that's like around 600,000.
Yeah.
600,000, and then you might be renting for 10, 20 years. So if it's 10 years, around 6M. In 20 years, that's like 12 million, you know. So if you can get a situation where you can arrange with the landlord, but there are also these development companies which are bringing up apartments that are being sold based on this rent to own basis. So you can look at this. It's a very affordable way to rent while you're owning the property at the end of it all. And yeah, but at the moment, renting is a sound option. But in future, definitely buying is much better, because now the money you're going to be spending on rent can go to other places, maybe invest, channel into different investments, which is also a very good thing. But check out the rent to own kind of ownership model.
Wow, I really love that. I love that, and I'll check it out as
Check
well.
it
Yeah.
out.
All right. So, what are we to end the show?
Thank you so much for being with us, and make sure you subscribe and share so that we can keep empowering to thrive.
And until next time, bye bye.
Bye.